My name is Kyle Summers, and this is Richard Miller. We were tasked with the idea of coming up with something for the value of sales reps. Just so happens that's what we do for a living, so it's probably a good thing owners aren't, in here doing this, and because we look like we're more important and we can keep our jobs. So I'm gonna let Richard introduce himself. He is kind of the what's the word, Richard? Godfather? No, not the right word. Brother. Um, Granddaddy. There we go. Let's get older. Of the RTO world, we've known Richard. I've known Richard for a long time. We've been competitors for a while, and we've been coworkers for like 2 weeks. So that was he learned a lot those 2 weeks. I'll just say that. Taught him everything I knew. Anyway, Richard, come on up here and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Richard Miller. I got into the shed industry in 2008, sold sheds until 2017, and I made an intentional transition to the RTO side as a sales rep because of things that I believed were missing a lot in the industry because of my passion for rent to own. And I want to go out there and communicate those ideas to a wider audience than just my customers. If I can take good care of a customer in my office, great, but if I can impact 10, 15, 20, or 100 other salespeople out there with some of the ideas that I learned about rent to own and the value it brings to people, and I spoke on this last year, then that was why I transitioned. Very specific reason why I transitioned. I live in Ohio. We're moving to Missouri soon. We're building a house there in southern Missouri. I live in Ohio with my lovely wife Tina and 8 Weber grills.
I told you. Weber. Yep. So I'm Kyle Summers. I've been in the industry now for since 2016, so not too long, but long enough to. I've worked with some people in here. Actually, work with some right now, and former employers as well. But started as a sales rep for a manufacturing company. Got into rent to own in 2020, and have been a sales rep in the rent to own industry ever since. I live at home with my wife and daughter and 27 Weber grills. I don't have any Weber grills, actually. But anyway.
We can fix the Weber grill deficiency right there.
Yeah,
Actually, come by and
problem.
enter to win a Weber grill at our booth tomorrow.
Well, I did last year, and you wouldn't let me win. So
So,
anyway. What makes a good sales rep? Obviously, there's 3 things. You got to be bald, have a beard, and glasses. Those are the 3
Check,
biggest
check,
things. So some of you in here, you're not going to make it. Sorry. That dude back there, you're on your track right there. You just need glasses, bro. Anyway, what makes a good sales rep? Richard, what makes a good sales rep, sir?
I don't know about.
You don't know?
I do know, but my mind was going a different direction.
What are
That
we-
was clumsy language.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing up front? Actually, what I did want to say is we're not up here because we are perfect in every way. We're up here.
We're close.
Because we're close. Because of the passion that we have for being a sales rep. And some time ago, we were at an event together, Kyle and I were, and we were out there just talking about life and sharing. And we had this idea, like we should get up and, like we see, I don't even want to go there.
That's okay.
You
It's
say
being
it.
recorded.
Say it diplomatically.
I don't know what you're going to say,
Okay.
so you might want to say it.
No, we see people out there that it's a job for them.
Give the industry a bad name.
Give the
There we
industry a
go.
bad name.
There we go.
I've interacted with some people who are not in the industry anymore like that. And we're like, man, if we could just, like, I wish everybody would step up their game on the sales rep side. We could solve a lot of problems in the industry with that. And it was out of that this little talk came about, is because of our passion, not our perfection.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that. Also, so what makes a good sales rep? How many companies in here actually have like sales reps? Raise your hand. Okay, who doesn't have sales rep? Raise your hand. Jonathan.
We're going to target Jonathan.
This is actually we're applying for new jobs. Like
Can,
exactly.
can you move over here right in our direct line of sight?
So okay, who didn't have sales reps? Just Jonathan. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm talking, non-owner sales reps, because some of the owners are the sales reps. So a person that's specifically, designed to be a sales rep, go out, talk to people. for me, when I started working at JMAG 3 years ago. They didn't have any sales reps at the time other than the owner Jim and owner's brother Joe and the other Jim. There's a lot of J's at JMAG actually. It's more like JMAG. There's a lot of J's. But anyway, when I got on, the first week I asked Jim. I said, how much do we want to grow this year? Like, what's the goal? And he said, I want to grow by 30%. And I was like, we'll do that next week. I was joking, obviously. But, I'm a very competitive person by nature. And just so happens we went out on a trip the next week and we signed up a company who helped us grow by 30%. And he was like, is it this easy? I was like, oh, sure. If you make it look easy, right? But, like, for me, what makes a good sales rep? Someone's got to be driven, right? You gotta love what you do. You gotta love people.
That's the passion I was talking about.
You gotta love people. At JMAG, we say contracts don't matter, people do. So, and we live by that. We don't care about the contracts. We care about the person. We care about the people that we work with, the people that we're taking payments from. All those things. We want to make sure that in everything that we do, we put people first. So you got to be a people person. Obviously, this guy right here has a knack for just connecting with people more than a lot of people that I know. And plus, he it's unfair. He grills for people. And how many people have had a meal prepared by Richard Miller before? If you haven't, you're missing out. So, Richard, tell him about the story when we went out. So another thing that makes a good sales rep is you can see the red flags in people that you go out and visit, right? Tell them about the story when we went together in Tennessee. Don't have to say names.
Let me tell a story about when we went to Tennessee, but let me back up just a little bit. And there's another thing that makes a good sales rep, and something that if you hire somebody, you want to make sure the best of your ability that they have this characteristic, is that I mentioned a little bit ago about that's just a paycheck for them. Hire somebody that cares about you and your company and about protecting your assets, about your profitability more than their paycheck. Somebody that understands that the more profitable they make you, the bigger their paycheck will be. Where if they focus on the paycheck, then they're short-circuiting everything. And so like the sales rep, he's not in the industry anymore, who taught me or tried to teach me a way to basically take advantage of a comp plan thing and screw over the company. And he says, it's their problem. They set it up this way. Take advantage of it. Not with our company now. Don't do that. Don't hire salespeople like that. Learn to get that out of there. So back to what he was saying.
I want to be clear. It wasn't me, by the way. We worked for 2 weeks. It wasn't me that he's talking about. Never mind. It was a joke.
By the way, Kyle and I worked together for exactly 2 weeks.
It's the greatest 2 weeks of his life.
We had so much fun, and we bounced back and forth like this naturally out there in the field. And I was like, Kyle, dude, are you sure you're going to go with JMAG? Like, you need to stay here with Smart Pay. We can have a lot of fun together. But we both made the right choice for us at that time in our lives, and it was a good choice for both of us. But anyway, one of the things about looking out for the company, for the company's best interest, is having an eye for the red flags for fraud. I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but fraud is a problem in the RTO industry. I'm being sarcastic. Everybody knows that. It's a big problem, and it's a very expensive problem. And nobody wins from fraud because it's not like you're providing value to people. It's just a money drain. And a good sales rep will watch out for those red flags and have an inquisitive nature about them. So while in those 2 weeks, we got a lead at Smart Pay, and Kyle and I were on our way to Texas or on our way back from Texas. I'm not sure, somewhere in that 2 weeks. And we decided to go down and check out this lead. And so the first red flag for us, for both of us, I think, was that the guy, we asked him the address where his facility is. Well, meet me at so-and-so and I'll take you to it. I'm fixing to rent a place. Every time I've run into that, and that happens, it's happened probably 4 or 5 times in the time I've been in the rent-to-own side. Every time that happens, it's fraud. Like it's just it's a red flag for me right now. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you don't.
Okay, so we go out there, and when the guy said that, my red flag's going off. We meet the guy. I knew instantly this was fraud. I am really good. Some people would say I come by it naturally at playing just a duh sucker, and just playing just stupid, and I'm good at that. And I was a little bit frustrated with Kyle because Kyle was impatient and wanted to go. And and tell him what you were frustrated by.
That you wanted to keep talking to the dude. I'm like, this guy's obviously crazy, and he's trying to scam us out of money. And we got in a car. We talked to him for maybe 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we were going to go to his, place of business that he just rented, and he's going to start building sheds. And we got in the car. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't we leaving right now? And he's like, well, I just want to find out more. And I'm like, I don't want to. Can we please go home? But no, Richard is one of those guys who he just tell me more. Like, he's an open book. He wants to know more and more and more. And it wasn't. It was a fun trip, but I was 2 minutes in. I was like, okay, let's go. Like, this guy's crazy. And Richard's like, I'm like, I know you're smarter than this, Richard. Like, what's happening right now? He's like, oh, I knew.
Yeah, see, I knew this guy I had the same read as Kyle instantly. We have different personalities. And see, that's one of the key points that I want to make is don't hire a certain type of personality. It can be all kinds of personalities. The key is, what was important is Kyle and I both cared about protecting the company's best interest. We both had the ability to sniff out potential fraud and red flags. And we just had a different approach to it. His was, I'm done. Mine was, I want to know exactly what is going on here for my education so I can learn, because it's not going to be the last time I run into a fraudulent situation. And the more I can learn about this guy, the more stories I can tell. No, I'm kidding. But the more I can learn about this guy, the more the more I want to educate myself on what the game plans are behind these people. So we had two different. It was just funny how we were so frustrated with each other, but we both picked it up quickly because we both care about protecting our company's financial interests.
So does anyone here in your business makes a manufacturer dealer apply to work with you? Like, do you have a form? Everyone? Okay. Anyone else? So at least what we do at JMAG, I know SmartPay does as well. If you meet somebody, you talk to somebody, you send them a link and they have to apply. The reason we do that is because, well, there's a lot of fraudulent people out there, and they'll give you a fake name, or they'll give you whatever, a business. And we are able, with some of the stuff that we use to not necessarily run a background check on them, but we'll put their name on the internet and see what comes up. I would highly recommend you guys do something like that. Make them apply because they feel like they have to be a part of something, right? It's not just, hey, I want your business, I want your business, I want your business. It's no, I mean, if you want to work with us, you want to partner with us, here's the form to fill out. But I said that because, has anyone heard of a program called TLO? Yeah, you guys use it for skip tracing and everything. So we use that program as well for manufacturers when they apply with us. We run them through that system, and if anything fraudulent has ever happened, it comes up in that system, and then we can kind of politely tell the manufacturer that we're just not interested in doing business. Last year, we turned down around $26 million worth of RTO contracts because of that program, because there were a lot of issues that came up when people were applying. I gave him Richard's phone number, though, so I'm just kidding. Actually, I did one of them. Sorry. I told you about it, though.
Yep.
So what well, go ahead, Richard. I think you had more to say.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about TLO. TLO is kind of a background check software. It's a subscription that you can get. It is not a credit check, so you do not need written permission from the customer or from the potential dealer to run this. It's publicly available information. You just consolidate it all in one place. Don't use those background search whatever websites that are all over the internet. Those are basically scams, and they will suck you out. Use something reputable. TLO, is it LexisNexis? Is another one that's really good. TLO seems to be good for the smaller operators. But the thing is you can't become as a sales rep, or if you're leading a sales rep, you don't want your sales reps to become cynical. They have to, and sometimes after you spend a month dealing with a fraud situation and you get lied to left and right, and you have 3 different fraud situations going on at once, and you start like, man, is everybody a crook? And go give everybody a whooping and apologize to the 20% that don't deserve it. That's horrible mindset, but sometimes it's easy to slide into there when you're dealing with that much fraud. So have not a suspicious mindset, but an alert mindset. If your reps need to, or if you're a rep, you need to have an alert mindset to pay attention to what is going on. Not be like somebody who's no longer in the industry, where I said he never met a crook he can vouch for. And anyway, I spent probably a good 3 to 4 months total time cleaning up this guy's messes from getting rid of people. And by the way, when you tell people we're not interested in doing business with you, you have to be okay with rejection and stuff, because some of them get manipulative. I just had that 2 weeks ago. I don't know why you don't want to help out a small God-fearing family business that blah, blah, blah. Just shut up. I just finally texted him back. I said, you know what? Your response to me declining your business convinces me that I made the right decision. And I'm done talking. If you want to talk profitable stuff, great. But if you want to go down this path, I'm done. And somewhere out there, he's probably bashing my name by now. I don't care. I'm okay with that, because you got to be willing to. A good sales rep needs to be willing to face conflict, to address conflict. If you're too conflict averse, you're not going to have the difficult conversations, and you're going to find yourself sucked into situations that lose money for your company. And again, I'm kind of flipping back and forth about is if I'm talking to you as a sales rep versus if you're the person that's managing a sales rep. But all this, forgot where I was going. You talk.
We're gonna take a right on Broadway and then a left on Michigan. I don't know where he's going either. But you were spitting fire, straight fire. It was really good. That's what kids say nowadays, I'm pretty sure. Spitting fire. I don't know what it means, but everyone's looking at me sad right now. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Thank you. You got it, Rich. Hey, we have Dennis Fisher walking in here. He is. Come on up here, Dennis. You're gonna. Come on, Dennis. This is a sales rep. So me, Richard, and Dennis always seem to be around the same area for some reason. A lot of times. He's not bald though, so he's got 2 steps. He's got the glasses. Oh, no beard either. Never mind. Come on.
You gotta get rid of the hair on top, move it to the bottom.
I have to shave it to do that, because I could not grow anything here.
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this to you.
That's okay.
But we're talking about what makes a good sales rep, Dennis. Well, let me go to this next slide. So what value does a sales rep bring? The reason I wanted to bring Dennis up here is because we are competitors. We're all 3 competitors. We actually sometimes I'll go to a manufacturer and then it's like Dennis is there, which is really fun when that happens. Or Richard's there and we just kind of talk and we actually we text each other quite a bit. It's okay to be competition. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to I think what we 3 represent, at least that I know of, is we all want to look out for our company that we work for. We all want to connect with the people that we service, that we serve every day, and it's just, and we all like to eat a lot, so that's true. I mean, it's just true.
Here to make you look a little better, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And that's why JMAG is better than RTO National. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Richard,
Yeah,
save me.
Sitting out there, so.
And that brings up another good point is that a sales rep out there in the field that does not have an us against them mentality can help you connect with other companies in the field. I can't tell you how many people that SmartPay has relationships now with competitors that have been beneficial to SmartPay, fraud investigations, stopping fraud, collaborations, all kinds of things because of relationships that I created out in the field. And then here's another thing. You want your sales rep, or if you're the sales rep, don't hoard those, gatekeep those relationships to yourself. Build up your company, connect the people to the people in your company, and let this thing be organically, the relationships, like be a facilitator is what I'm trying to say. Be a facilitator for relationships within your company to other people in the industry. Manufacturers, don't gatekeep the manufacturers. Do you know what I mean by gatekeeping? Shall I explain that? So gatekeeping is okay, so Kyle's my client, and I tell Kyle, don't call anybody in the company, just call me. I try to isolate him, put a gate in between him and the company so that I look good, so that I am in control. This thing happens out there. Sales reps in the rent-to-own industry do this. And if you're a sales rep or if you're a manager sales rep, you want to eliminate that kind of behavior and have somebody that is just living wholeheartedly and getting those relationships going with everybody. And sometimes it leads to awkward feelings, okay? I'm just going to be vulnerable and say sometimes it feels awkward, like, man, I hope I don't regret that. You know what? You just got to live like that anyway, because very seldom will you ever regret it. And if you do, you're going to regret something anyway. Why not regret a negative consequence of living wholeheartedly and openly rather than a whole bunch of negative consequences of living like this? I guess that's really one of the things I want to say is hire sales reps, coach your sales reps, be a sales rep that lives life like this with your manufacturers, with your competitors, with your company, everything. We're talking more about who they are than about a certain personality or a certain skill set. You want people that have relations. Well, we're going to get to that a little bit, but back to what does the value does a sales rep bring? When you have a sales rep like that out there in the field, they can become the face of your company out there. They can be the connection point for the company. They can feed information and data back to the home office. Because if you're running a rent-to-own company, there's a certain level of isolation that happens. You're too busy to be out there in the field visiting with everybody, and you're losing out on a lot of information that would be valuable to you to know where you're going, to know what's going on in the marketplace. A good sales rep will keep feeding that stuff back to you. Now you're all of a sudden less siloed, you're less isolated, you're more in touch with everybody, and a good sales rep becomes kind of an extension of you. I see myself as an extension of David Miller. Like I'm out there on his behalf. And so when I'm talking to people, I'm building those connections. Even if David never gets out there, I'm building that connection with the home office. And oh, by the way, you gotta talk to Dan. Like he's absolutely great. He handles our transportation stuff, and build up the people on your team. And all of a sudden, it doesn't become me versus them. It just becomes the silos get eliminated, and the company has a more general presence that is all facilitated by the sales rep. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
So one thing that we do at JMAG with our manufacturers, and the reason for I brought Dennis up here is because I see these two as like pillars for me. They're my mentors in a way. And so like if I have a problem, I can go to these guys and I know they're going to tell me the truth. And I know so. Get a Richard Miller and a Dennis Fisher in your life, or just get these two because they're right here. So they'll probably get you their information.
Well, the one thing I would say is that working together, I think working together is just kind of like what we do with our dealers or manufacturers, right? So we problem solve for each other. I mean, it was a year ago or 2 years ago that Cal came up to me and said, I have a need in this area. Do you have somebody that can help? And I walked him over to one of my dealers and said, talk to him. He might be able to help you. That's what we try to do on our side of it. But it's the same thing with our dealers and manufacturers. Okay, I'm in the field, as he said. I think Richard said, being the face of the company. I want them to feel like they can call me and I can help them solve a problem. And I certainly don't want them to have an issue that they don't bring to my attention. I want to be that person that they go, I'm calling Dennis, he'll get it taken care of for me. That's my job, okay? It's not just helping build sales, but it is. Any way I can problem solve for them and help them grow their business, it helps me, right? That's my job. So, and this, for me, goes right down to the lot sales level. You need that same person there. They're the face of your company. And you want them representing your company in a fashion that you approve of. You know, and I would be lying if I didn't say I've walked into places and gone, whoa, do they know? That's just a fact, you know? So that's all I have to add.
Yeah, well, thank you, Dennis. Thank you. So at JMAG, we do things a little different with our manufacturers. We have a thing called Care to Grow. It's a monthly meeting that we do with all of our manufacturers. It kind of going into we want to communicate with them on a personal level, all of our manufacturers. So there's got to be a personal touch, right? The relationships are what matter to us. So every month we do one. It's called a Care to Grow. We ask them 4 or 5 questions. The questions are, what two things did you learn this month? What 2 obstacles are you facing? We ask them, what 2 things do you need from us? And then we ask them to rate us on a scale of 1 to 5. So it's kind of, sometimes it's a scary question to ask, depending on the month, because it's kind of a fluid. This month we were a 5. Next month we could be a 3 because we dropped the ball on something or we've done something. But the communication in that aspect, we're able in those calls and those meetings to squash things so much faster. And honestly, sometimes during the call, when we're on the call, because I had one manufacturer who wasn't getting paid, but they sent it to the wrong email and we didn't know. So while we were on the phone with them, we paid them while they were on the phone with them, and he was like, oh, okay. He was really happy. Like, that was something that, if we didn't have those calls, he might not have brought to our attention immediately, and it could have been one of them things that festered and all these things. So I would recommend, having some sort of, if you have a sales rep doing, visits, with what we do, we can't visit everyone that we work with all the time. So this is kind of a way for us to do like a Zoom call, to at least do it, have a touch every month with them. On a personal level, Richard, you have a story for us about the Tennessee or the Texas trip? I'm sorry, we were going to talk about when we went down.
Oh,
I had to give him a hint. I had to kick him in the feet.
yeah,
That was his
kicked him
hint.
in the feet. So I got to tell you something about Kyle. We're driving along, and I'm asking Kyle. I saw a billboard for a shoe store in Benton, Arkansas, Tops Shoes, and I asked Kyle, like, he's into shoes, like, what is the big deal with tennis shoes? Like, how many pairs?
It doesn't matter.
Over 100.
No, well, maybe, possibly over 100 pairs.
This guy is a shoe addict.
Is my wife out there? No. So
Okay, yeah,
20.
Yeah, if his wife is listening, 20. Otherwise, it's over 100 pairs of shoes. And like, what is the big deal with running shoes, with tennis shoes? Like, he's into tennis shoes big time. Remember Craig was talking about that? Well, Craig that was up on the stage, and Kyle used to work together at a company years ago together. And I think they, like, fed each other's addictions or whatever. I don't know what happened. And so we just pulled into this shoe store. He said, let's go there. I'll show you. And I walked out. I'd spent $145 or something like that on a pair of tennis shoes. I never dreamed of, it was a whole world that I never knew about. And so I decided today I'm going to wear these shoes in Kyle's honor. And I got bright blue ones and orange ones. This is the second pair. And it's just something that completely outrageous for me. But it's those kind of bonding things that we did together that today help facilitate our relationship that we have and our working together. And that circles back to having a sales rep out there that's connecting with people, that's willing to go out there and have a good time with people. You know what? Maybe they aren't going to go cook for their clients. You know, maybe that's not their thing. Don't try to copy me on that, but find something, or if you're managing sales team, coach them on finding something that is out of the box, that is different, that is unique, that is them, to build those relationships with people. You know,
maybe your manufacturer needs a new pair of shoes that happen to be in your size, and then you forget to give it to them. I mean, maybe. You never know. Could be anything like that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
No, it's fine. I'm done.
You're not done. Okay, we're going to open up for questions. I have a question for Jonathan Miller. It's a weird way to start questions, isn't it? Jonathan, why haven't you hired sales reps in the past? What would be your reason? Yeah. Okay. It's a weird Q&A when the people up here start asking questions to the audience, isn't it?
Let's talk about the economics of it. And again, I'm talking from the sales rep side of point of view, so I have a bias towards
You should pay 'em.
Yeah, you should pay me. I want to be paid. But no, so it depends on your business model. It depends on what kind of manufacturers you're going after, all that kind of stuff. But when I worked for AFG Rentals, we had a lead come in for a guy up in Connecticut. I was already living in Ohio, so it wasn't that terrible far. And I told my wife, I said, honey, let's run up there together, and we're gonna go see this guy. Something don't feel quite right. I couldn't find any information about him online. No social media, no nothing. Okay, his last name, I better not even go there. Anyway, his last name has two parts to it.
Yoder.
Yeah. And he gave us the last part of it, but he didn't give us the first part. And so we went up there and met with him, and he was one of those that, I'll meet you at this address, I'll take you to the facility that I'm going to rent. And he took us to an old nursing home, and he's going to build sheds in this nursing home. No, you ain't. There's no doors big enough to roll a shed out of. There's no walls big enough to put doors in to roll a shed out of. And the guy was just full of it. And then he claimed that he got a loan on it, $1 million loan from the bank with one-page document because he's dressing Amish, and they trust him because he looks Amish. And anyway, it just kept going. So again, I'm doing this like, this guy's a crook, but I want to know really what's going on. And I'm so glad I did, because when we sat down in the hotel lobby and visited, he told us in Texas, he told the home office that he has these 3 women that are helping him with his marketing, and et cetera, and they're really sharp at marketing. And he brought one of them, a 19-year-old girl, very naive girl, extremely naive girl, to this, conversation that we had when we sat there in the hotel lobby. And she's his internet guru and marketing guru, and she barely knows how to get around social media. And she is, and he's grooming her. Big time he's grooming her. I won't go into all that, but he is grooming her. He is a sexual predator at this point in my mind. That's where I'm assigning him. And this is really bad. And my alarm bells are going ding, 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 ding. And he's talking about a shed trailer. And I said, oh, you know what? I'm an admin on Sheds United page, and sometimes equipment is listed there. And so here's what I need you to do. I need you to go ahead. I gave my phone to her, and I showed her. I said, go ahead and join there, and then you can post your request for your equipment. And I'm an admin, so I'll approve it right away. So I know it's you. And so she did, and I quick screenshot it. Now I have her name, right? And so I went home, and I hunted down her mama by stalking her basically on social media, figured out who her mama was, messaged her mama, told her mama everything that was going on, because I'm skipping over all the details. Told her mama, everything that was going on. Her mama got her out of that situation. Mama and the girl both thanked me profusely for that. I mean, I literally saved this lady from, what's that? God knows, who knows what. It was a horrible, horrible situation. Then I found something, the rest of his last name. So I searched for that. Oh, he wasn't off social media because he's trying to be Amish. He's off social media because he raped a 7-year-old girl. Okay, this is a truly bad individual, and he'll probably be at the Shed Show tomorrow. If he is, I'll point him out to anybody that needs to point him out because he keeps showing up. And he spent all that time in prison. He's not allowed to be on social media. And the New York Times, on the front page of the financial section in 1999, had an article on twins committing fraud, and him and his brother were the feature people on this article. Okay, and so all that to say, I'm going home, I'm feeling really bad about the $1,200 that we spent of the company money to go up there on that trip. So besides my wages, we spent $1,200, AFG did. And I was grumbling, feeling bad and talking to Leland about that. He said, Richard, you're looking at that completely wrong. You probably saved us $60,000 to $100,000. All right, depending on your business model, that $60,000 is going to go a long ways towards paying a sales rep's wages. The fraud that they can prevent by going out there and investigating these situations is going to save you a boatload of money. So that's one of the factors that you should take into account when you're trying to figure out, can I afford to hire somebody? Because they're your face out there in the field. Sometime, if y'all want to hear, and I'm not going to share it from here, a story about an encounter with this guy at a shed show, come up and I'll tell you it's a hilarious story, but I won't go into it up here. But again, there's another thing. Besides all the money we saved, look at the value I brought to that girl's life. That's extremely rewarding.
I mean, well, that story took a turn. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see that coming. We're gonna open it up for questions. Anyone have any questions for us? We got just a few minutes left, I believe. You stunned them, for the record, with that
Sorry,
story.
maybe
that
I
you
got
just
too
did.
deep on that one.
Yes, sir.
What is your idea about hiring salesmen? How should you pay them? A lot. Sales rep, commission.
How should you?
Say, I want to be your salesman.
Yeah.
What would be your idea about paying?
Compensation.
How would you, do you have a plan, an idea?
Yeah, so I mean, I know a lot of companies pay a salary plus commission, and that commission is kind of dependent on what the company decides. Could be 1%, 2%. It could be 0.5%. But I think for me as a sales rep, I would. When you're a salesperson, you always like to get paid commission because there's no cap, obviously, but you have to protect yourself as a company to not just make it about the commission, right? Like there has to be something else because you can find a sales rep can mess your company up pretty quickly by signing up anyone just if it's a paycheck. So Jim back there, my boss, is smiling really big. I don't know why. He's Oh, B. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It is very much relationship based, and you have to be fairly close because quickly you can go backwards with buying contracts. We know that. I think most of us in here probably do. But for me, it was about the relationships. It wasn't able to do. I did most of that myself. I wasn't able to do a good job of it. But by hiring a sales team, okay, there was a few of us, including myself, in the beginning, we were able to, one, do a better job at what we set out to do,
I haven't done that for the record. Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, what are some things that whenever you visit a manufacturing facility, things that you look for that will tell you that these are some people that you do want to work with?
If you show up and they are at least semi, what? All right, come on up here. I want you to speak in the mic.
If a shed company calls you and you haven't had a previous conversation with them, that's your first sign to raise a red flag.
Yeah.
Because most shed companies are typically satisfied, but when you get people reaching out, asking you, hey, we want to talk to you about rent tone, we're not happy with where we're going. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but that's the first red flag. Dig into what's behind it. It has worked for us, has it not?
Yep. And it may be legit, but at that point, I'm paying a lot more attention right up front. And there's legitimate reasons to leave companies you're with. They change policies, you're not happy with them. But you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to call a rep from that company and talk to them. And you might think that's absolutely nuts. You know what? I'm giving them the opportunity to go back and fight for their business if they want to keep it. But I'm going to do that. But one of the things, when I pull up and the place is at least semi-organized, okay, the probability of that being a good place, a good client, a good relationship just went up. And you say, oh, my place, I got disorganization in my place. I said semi. Okay, I'm trying to protect myself. So I don't feel too bad about my disorganization. But somebody that cares about what they're doing and they show it in how they treat you, how they treat their employees. Watch how their employees react to them when you walk through the office. Are their employees keeping their head down? Are they flinching? Or are they open? Not like that. Are they open and connection and rapport? That's something good to watch for.
I think we got time for one more, maybe. We got 2 minutes. Anyone else?
I'd just like to thank Richard. He doesn't really even know us, I don't think. A couple of years ago, you warned us in Kentucky, I won't mention first name or last middle names, but that guy he's in prison now. But we went through some rumble tumbles with him. And I appreciate you for saying that, because we could also be competitors,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
We felt a kinship. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
And one more thing on the competitor thing. Always remember, you are competitors. Like, I will fight Kyle to the bitter death over a client that I want.
He will lose.
Sorry,
Lost for words.
we called on a client together when we were in that 2 weeks, and then he quit for Smart Pay. It was all planned, and this guy had a call in to JMAG, and so then the next week, his first week at JMAG, he shows back up. I'm like, what are you doing here? Well, I work for JMAG now. But you know what? Kyle was legit. Like, he was not swaying anything, and they had a solution that we didn't have, and so he went with them. So yeah, I lost on that.
Actually,
But
I actually told him I'd be back for RTO National next week.
anyway, I think that's all I got.
We're good? Okay. I think next, is there a network break in between?
Networking break will be back in the main room there at 3:50.
Okay. So y'all are dismissed.
Thank you all for
Thank
your
you.
time.